So let's begin our first row where we are going to work with all 3 balls of yarn. How do we begin? Well, first of all, we're going to pick up C1, the yarn that we have always been working with to this point, and the row begins as it always has. Slip the first stitch as if to purl with the yarn in front, and then that yarn is going to drop down to the back. Now the real fun begins because for the first time we're going to work with another ball of yarn on this fabric. So what I need is my C2. And so I'm going to look to the back of the work, find my attached strand, working strand of C2, and I am going to make one. And how do I make one? Well, you can take a look at the earlier M1 Make One video to see how this backward loop is done. Here I'm just going to pick up the working yarn and as usual flip it back over that second finger, forming a firm backward loop that I will then place upon the right needle. And after having done that, just gently pull to snug it up to about stitch tension. Not tight, not loose, just right. And after that, your instructions will tell you that we continue working with C2 and we knit 1 stitch. There we go. We're off to the races now. So when it's time to change yarns at this point, we're going to want to reach for our good old friend, the stitch marker. Do not skip the stitch marker. We'll put stitch marker in place. And now this is exciting because we're going to begin to work with the third ball of yarn, or C1A. So our C1 color, but the second ball of it that we have once again got temporarily attached. We are going to pick it up. When we pick it up, fish around behind it. This is not a pretty process. I deliberately am not trying to pretty this up for you as I demonstrate. And look to the back of the work, find where the end of that temporarily attached C1A ball is coming from, and pick it up underneath the strand of C2. Yeah, this is like dancing with an octopus at first, but it does get better, I promise. And once we've got it in position so that we can knit with it, the rest of the row is really a piece of cake on the right side. We just get the C1A ball where it needs to be, and then I'm going to use it to knit my way across all of those stitches. Now, if you have tried this and you've been like, I have this weird looseness on the back side where I began working with the second and third balls, don't worry. We're going to show that and talk about that coming up shortly. But this is all we have to do now is just knit and knit and knit across. And so while I do that, just another little note. You'll notice here in the demonstration that I've got everything on a table. Do that in real life as well. When you are working this section and the first several inches with all 3 balls of yarn attached, do yourself a favor and be somewhere where you have a desk or a table to support everything. If you try to do this in your lap or in your favorite knitting chair or whatnot without a table or a desk, it can be an issue. There I am at the end of that row. Next, we'll look at the following wrong side row.